This week, we remember a Capitol Hill vixen, a man who would be chief, and when Kodak suddenly found itself out of the film business. Here's News 8 Now's Dave McKinley with News 8 Then.
10 years ago this week, as restoration crews were topping off the Seabreeze carousel built to replace the one destroyed by fire just under 2 years before, Chicago Hope was really popular, and stores couldn't keep up with the demand for cheeseheads. Now, those things have changed, but some things never do. Like the feeling you get that it's always going to snow in January, and the feeling you get about certain people whom you know are destined for bigger and better things, which is something those of us around here had known long before this week in 1996. If you can remember when you first started hearing about things like this.
It's called magnetic resonance image.
Or this.
The weighing word processors.
Then you might recall that it was this week in 1986 that Kodak abruptly stopped making instant cameras. Of course, they were aided in that decision by a court injunction as part of a case which later found Kodak had infringed on the patents of Polaroid. As its film was ordered pulled from store shelves, the big yellow box proposed offering a share of stock to each who turned in their suddenly useless Kodamatics.
Oh, that's what I'd go for, I guess.
And it looks like he'd have been right, because while a share of Kodak is currently worth about $24, mint-condition Kodamatics, even in their original boxes, can be had for as little as $2 on eBay today. 30 years ago this weekend, long before we'd hear the names Monica Lewinsky or Donna Hart, this was Washington's femme fatale du jour. A stripper by trade and known to legions as the Argentinian firecracker, she burst onto the national stage for a sex scandal which led to the downfall of once powerful House Ways and Means Committee Chair Wilbur Mills a year before. Pop quiz? Name this lady who was still the subject of so much front-page news and toward whom many a man's head did turn when she visited Rochester this week in 1976. 40 years ago this week, Moving Up Day at the RPD brought promotion for, among others, a 42-year-old lieutenant continuing his rise through the ranks, although Tom Hastings couldn't have known that he would become the city's chief of police less than 10 years later. And it was all News 8 Then.
Here's the answer to this week's News 8 Then pop quiz. Long before there was Monica Lewinsky or Donna Rice, there was Fanny Fox, a stripper by trade. She first came to prominence in 1974 when a car driven by House Ways and Means Chairman Wilbur Mills was stopped by police in the nation's capital, and she ran from the back seat and jumped into the tidal basin. Well, that exposed a sex scandal which forced Mills' resignation. Fanny Fox is reportedly alive and well, and by some accounts still performing on stage in her native Argentina at age 69.